All right, guys. So pronouns you talked about yesterday. Today we are going to talk about how to deal with verbs. So here's the thing about verbs. This is going to go on page 13, which is trece. Goodness, trece. And it is the verb tener. So one thing that you need to know is that on your tener page there should be a flower involved on this one, and there's an explanation on what to do there. You may want to wait until my explanation to go back and look at that. So here's the thing about verbs. In English, and you don't need to write this in your interactive notebook unless you just really feel like it. In English, this is how verbs typically work. We have something called an infinitive. Actually, do write this down. Write down infinitive and also write down conjugation. I do want you to have those two words defined. An infinitive is the most basic form of a verb. It is to do something. So give yourself just some examples. To walk, to study, to swim, to breathe, to be, any of those. Those are infinitives. We don't know who is doing whatever it is. We don't know when this is happening. It is just to be, to walk. A conjugation is when you change the verb. So if we take the infinitive to walk, we don't say I to walk, we say I walk. We don't say we don't say he to walk, we say he walks. So walk and walks are the two conjugations of the infinitive to walk. To study, we say I study, you study, we study, they study, he studies, she studies, it studies. So typically in our verbs, you have just take off the to, and that main word is one of your conjugation, and then we add an S somewhere in there. Now to swim, I swim, you swim, he swims. Oh, I'm thinking past tense. Never mind, we're good. Yes. So swim and swims are the two conjugations there. Now we also, though, have some irregular verbs. To be. We don't say I to be. What do we say? I am. We don't say he am, though. We say he is. We don't say you am or you is. At least we're not supposed to. We're supposed to say you are. So in this case, the infinitive to be actually has three conjugations: am, is, and are. But the thing about conjugations, you have to make sure you get the right conjugation with the right pronoun. You don't want to say I swims, because that is how you sound like you don't know how to speak English. You want to know that it's I swim. Same thing with swims. You don't want to say he swim because you sound like you don't speak English. You want to say he swims. So that's what we're doing here with verbs. So let's get another slide here. So with the verb tener, you want to know that that means to have. And then each conjugation has each pronoun has a different conjugation. And this is why I had you guys write these down in this order yesterday, or look at them in this order yesterday. So yo, you want to know that yo means I. So if we want to say I have, that is yo tengo. And yo tengo means I have. For to, and there should be an accent on that U, I just don't know how to do it on here. So for to, the to conjugation, you've actually seen this before in the question, how old are you? ¿Cuántos años tienes? And that means you have. Usted, él, and ella always share a conjugation. So this is similar to in English. we say he has, she has, it has. So they all share the same conjugation. So they are all tiene. And so these would translate as you have, he has, and she has. So those are all the left-hand conjugations. If you will memorize yo is I, tu is you, usted is you, él is he, ella is she, and then tengo, tienes, tiene, then you've got half of the conjugations memorized. Then on this side over here, you've got nosotros, vosotros, ustedes, ellos, and ellas. And they also have certain conjugations that go with them. For nosotros, you want to remember nosotros is we, so we're trying to say we have. The conjugation is tenemos, and that means we have. Vosotros, that's the one that you have my permission to forget about. That's tenéis. Now do me a favor, put an accent on that E. That should be tenéis with an accent over the E. And that means you all have. And that's the one that's just in Spain. I wouldn't focus on that one at all. Otherwise, if you're not in Spain and it's not informal, you want to go with this conjugation. To say you all have, you want to go with ustedes tienen. And that is you all have. And then ellos and ellas also are tienen. And those both translate as they have. So this is why knowing your pronouns is so crazy important. You've got to get those memorized. Then you can start working on memorizing tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. Accent on the E in tenéis. And the thing about Spanish is, and you probably saw this in the video if you've already watched it, you actually don't have to say the pronoun in the sentence. So you can say, yo tengo 5 hermanos, and that would be I have 5 brothers. Or I can take out that yo altogether and just say tengo 5 hermanos. And it still means I have 5 brothers. And the reason you don't need that in Spanish is because tengo only goes with yo. If I say tengo, we know it's not vosotros because vosotros goes with tenéis. Tengo doesn't go with nosotros, that's tenemos. Tengo does not go with tu, that's tienes. So you will never say yo tienes or yo tiene, yo tenemos, yo tenéis, yo tienen. That's just wrong. That is you sounding like a 3-year-old and like you don't speak any kind of Spanish. So being able to conjugate verbs is really, really key in sounding like a thinking human being, to be honest. Tienes, same thing. Tienes only goes with tu. Now, tiene and tienen, yeah, they have 3 different pronouns they could go with. So you still don't have to use them, but you're more likely to use them in Spanish. So practice these. Go to conjuguemos.com. If you are still a little bit confused, go to YouTube. YouTube is your friend. There are about 1 million explanations as to how this works. Definitely practice on the ebook. Practice until it is perfect. This is key to you passing Spanish 1.